Hi everyone, my name is Mary Rains and this is my introduction video. A couple of things about me. First off, I was born and raised in Michigan, so I actually went to school in Sturgis Public Schools, K through 12, in Sturgis, Michigan. I then went on to CMU, where I graduated with a double major, English and History, with an emphasis in secondary education. And then I also did some student teaching while I was in Mount Pleasant at CMU, and I did that in both history and English, so in both my majors. My first teaching gig, I included up here, was in my mother's classroom, and I started helping out after school because of the differences in the times of when my school got out and hers did, when I was like in fifth grade. And so I did that up until I got an actual paying job when I was like 16. From there, then after I did my student teaching, my next big teaching job would have been in Great Bend, Kansas. So I moved to Great Bend into Kansas, and I taught 9th, 11th, and 12th grade English at the high school. And then I married my husband now, Reed, and then I moved to Hutchinson, and so now I teach at HMS 7, which is our 7th grade building in our district. If you guys care to look, here are some of the extracurricular activities I do for the district, and so I like to keep busy. My personal introspection, I had to think long and hard about. I think where I'm at right now, looking inside myself, I am becoming a great teacher. I think we're all becoming great teachers. I know that there is always room to grow as a teacher. So even in my strengths, I know that there are definitely areas that I could improve upon. But I decided, looking at how I teach, that my strong areas would be in differentiated instruction, personal relationships with staff and students, and then I also think a strong suit of mine would be my knowledge of the content and technology. Things that I know I need to improve upon, but are not limited to, because I know there's a lot of them. But if I had to analyze myself, it would probably be creating lessons that are real world or and relevant to learners and that are cross curricular. So kind of branching out from ELA. My goals and reasons for getting my master's. My reason for getting my master's is listed at the top. Basically, I just want to grow and learn about my craft. I am getting my master's in ESOL, and I think a lot of what I've learned so far and what I knew about this major will help me teach the demographics of kids that I have, not just kids that speak a second language or speak multiple languages, but also just kids that need help learning English. And so I chose to go back for my master's to do that. My goals aren't super grand, and I've enjoyed watching a lot of the videos that I've seen and seeing where they want to get with their masters or in teaching. I definitely know that I do not want to be an administrator or anything like that. And so really, here are my goals. First, short term, I need to get or would like to get my master's in ESOL and then start a family. Long term, with what I've learned in my ESOL master's, I would like to redesign our curriculum at my school, and I would like to become an educational leader in my school. That does not mean administrator, that does not mean instructional coach. It just means to be a leader and to know what I'm doing in the art of teaching. Data in Hutchinson Public Schools. I just wanted to include this really quickly because I think this is very relevant to my district, but also probably just to data usage in general. But the data will talk if you're willing to listen. So I thought that was pretty important to start off with. Sometimes it's really hard to really listen to what the data is actually telling you because it doesn't fit into what your plan is or what you think it should be telling you. So that being said, here's my reflection on my school data usage and analysis. So first off, the data that we use as a school would be iReady and AimsWeb. AimsWeb is primarily SPED right now, and iReady is everybody's tested on iReady right now. We do the state assessment at 7th grade, and we also have a district writing assessment that starts in 7th grade, which I administer as the English teacher. I will say right now, before I go any further, I my district is adopting a new program to use instead of iReady, because I know at least at the 7th grade we don't necessarily trust all of the data that we're getting, and it might be time for a change so that we can actually use the data appropriately. That being said, we use the data of the listed programs to create our tiered systems of intervention, to place or kids into co-taught classes, adaptive reading, and also our guided studies classes. Our department, because we didn't necessarily trust iReady, which is math and English, we decided to do pre and post tests on all of our curriculum and all of our content and skills that we want our kids to learn. We did this by using a style of playlist, which is basically mastery-based learning. So that each week or every so often they'll get a playlist, and it's a skill or a content area that they need to learn. They get a pretest on it. They get resources to help them learn that if they haven't already mastered it. And then they get a post test to show mastery. If they don't show mastery, then we do things like small groups and differentiated instruction until we can retest them in a different way and they can show us that they've gotten it. And we found that that worked out pretty well. My personal knowledge and use of data, I kind of went over it already. The iReady data helps me as a teacher set the trajectory for the year. And this is more based on classes, because as we know, if you have multiple classes, each class makeup is different. And so I use the iReady for that. If a student fails the post test, as I already kind of went over, they're given more one-on-one instruction or more practice. They're given more resources to help them. Generally in my class, that would be small groups. So I'd be pulling them to work with them and figuring out why they're not understanding the content. I think I also wanted to include that I have co-taught every year that I've been in Hutch because of the severe needs of the kids that we have. And so I think that really helps actually when looking at data and knowing how to use it and how to analyze it. It helps to have a team that helps you do that. So my co-teacher and I do that frequently. So that's really helped me. But I wanted to end with, I don't know what I don't know. And so I know there's things that have to do with data and the way that I use it in my classroom that I could definitely improve upon. My proposed plan: 1, get teachers training to interventions or to teach interventions. 2, more intervention teachers in general. I think the data in our district, if we're willing to listen, tells us that we need more help in helping kids improve. And so that would start with intervention teachers. We need to get a program that we can trust, not iReady. The training, and then training on that data program. And then the last thing that I think would be really important for us to figure out as a district would be just communication of data from teacher to teacher or school to school. So actually communicating what data we have on kids, what this tells us about this kid, and where we go from there. So some strategies and some just really good collaboration to help each student. Thank you for watching my video, and I look forward to working with all of you guys throughout this course.